From the subreddit AskMen. What are you most afraid of as a guy? Losing my self-sufficiency. Age, illness, injury. It's coming for me someday unless I'm very lucky in it, and scares the shit out of me. My dad having a heart attack and no one being there to help him. Neurodegenerative diseases. Just about anything else I can face, but this scares me more than any other form of death. It's like dying extremely slowly, losing who you are as a person until you're a corpse just going through the motions of life. I have zero safety net. If I lose my job, or fall on hard times in general, I'm screwed. Most of my friends from high school are broke, have families, etc. I also grew up in a poor neighborhood. Same with most of my family. My mother is a drug addict. My father was never around, and he died back in 2010. So, if things go south, it's back to sleeping in my car. I'm thankful I have a car at least. But, I'm afraid of going back. It was tough before. But the older I get, the less I'm sure I'll make it next time. It's a strength at times, to keep going when all I want to do is give up. I know I won't have anyone to fall back on, so I push through. Disabled vet, can't take most physical jobs out there like I used to be able to. Which of course doesn't help the mental aspect. And I just got laid off, have an interview in a couple days. It's not all gloom and doom. But, you did ask about fears. So, it's only natural I stay on topic. Testicular torsion. Being alone. Dying early. Being homeless. I'm severely depressed and have an MTBI. Forget shit, quick to anger. If depression is a disease, I feel like it's winning most of the time. Never having my own place. Wasting my life due to depression. Being a leech on those I love. Being somebody else's security relationship. Romantic or platonic. Growing up, I often found myself in the comforter role with people. This is great until you start to realize how few people will be there for you when you're the one in need. You start to wonder if you're valued for you, or if you're only as valuable as the support you offer. It's also hard because I sometimes feel that even with women that I'd like to build more than just friendship with, I'm so emotionally available early on. I think sometimes that works against me because many perceive some kind of connection between masculinity and emotional stoicism. I'm approachable. I don't pretend to be anything other than what I am. I do the things I love and I talk about what matters to me. And the hope is that in time, I'll meet friends and love interests that want to be around that person. But right now, nobody seems interested. And that's fine because I'd rather sell who I am without any buyers than to be valued for an act I play. But if I don't have that wow factor, if it's what's on the inside that doesn't appeal to women, or friends, then it makes me feel insecure about their motives for being with me. In high school, a girl once told me I'd make great husband material after everyone has had their fun and wants to settle down. I've heard a few variations of this since, and it always makes me think, is what's wrong with me now? So what is my worth? Will I be loved for who I am? Or will someone come along one day and see the life I've worked hard to build and the security I might have and think he'll work? This fear has been multiplied by the 2 relationships I did have. Both girls came from horrific family situations. Neither had any kind of real support system, and so I became the friend, the parent, the therapist, and the person they modeled their own personalities on. But I couldn't get that emotional support back. And I quickly realized both times that my personality was not really all that important to them. As long as I could pose for social media pictures and play the role of secure boyfriend, my identity didn't matter. What I wanted didn't matter. It felt like I'd finally gotten the girl, but sacrificed myself. When my peers and I are headed to our 30s and people's pool of options gets smaller, will someone cling to me like a life raft to ensure they don't end up alone? I want authentic love. I want to be totally down for someone for who they are, and I want to be loved for who I am, and not just for the role I can fill or the security I give. I am more than a provider. This is my biggest insecurity. Falling back into the pit of addiction. Ending up alone. I've resigned myself to trying to focus on my education and my career instead of women, but it's made me develop something of a negative opinion of myself in terms of being a partner. It's been so long since a girl has shown genuine romantic interest in me, and I worry that I'm letting my only chance of being in a relationship pass me by. So ending up alone, yeah. Being in a group of people and knowing I'm not truly wanted there. Edit 1, thank you all for 1000. Deleted. Being worthless, being alone. Generally, I think the first begets the second, and that's pretty scary. Not being able to take care of myself financially. People, sounds weird, but I've just become so antisocial, but I legitimately can't stand being around other people anymore. So I try to avoid at all costs. I Google the hours of businesses and go when they're not busy. I've disconnected from most of my friends. I don't play video games with voice comms anymore. Being dependent on other people. Biting into an apple and pulling my teeth out. Or standing behind a door when someone opens it quickly and ripping all my toenails 90% off. Being captured and tortured by a cartel. Not finding love. Two main fears are my kids getting hurt and getting my dick caught in my zip. The Dutch. The scene in E.T. where E.T. pops out of the cornfield screaming. Failing my son. Failing to protect my daughter. Edit, thanks for the paw friends. Carnies, small hands and smell like cabbage. Also, dying before I know my wife and kids are financially secure. I'm absolutely terrified of spiders. Being a guy, everyone asks me to kill/remove bugs, but I literally can't with spiders. Failure. Getting my balls caught on a barbed wire fence while running naked through the woods. Descartes' theory of the evil genius and that our whole reality may be an illusion. Intimacy. Being considered scary or a creep. I'm a 6 feet 8 inches 227, muscular black guy. The amount of women that have clutched purses or children when I've walked into to get a cupcake has made me want to cry. I'm legitimately an INFP personality type and very socially awkward. I have no friends, so there's this conscious effort to not scare or creep anyone out because I don't talk much. I'm single right now solely because I'm shy around people, something that no one expects until they hang out with me, and then it's like I see what you mean. Basically, I'm most afraid of people being afraid of me. Divorce lawyers. Having to depend on others. Losing self-sufficiency basically. Being alone, without loving relationship. My last true relationship was 7 years ago and I can find another one since then. I have casual things going on, but I want more. I am constantly evolving myself, working, learning, I have hobbies, I have a good life. I begin to think it's something wrong with me, but I don't really know what. I just want to share this life with someone. I'm afraid of one of two things. 1. I wake up to find that no one remembers who I am. 2. That I discover my friends were only friends with me to have someone to laugh at when I'm not around. Pretending, and if I left they'd be happy. That's what I dealt with in school. Living out the rest of my life alone. A fire in the house when my dog is home alone. Showing true feelings. Saying the wrong thing and ruining my life, or ruining my chances with someone like. A handful of words can end your entire future if you're not careful. Feeling a catheter go in my pee hole. Literally have nightmares about it since I learned this was a thing at age 8. Letting fear rule my life. Being forgotten. I know everyone will be eventually. At some point after your death someone will think about you, talk about you, will speak your name for the very last time. It's an inevitable reality, but it's still scary to think about. Not being enough. Violence. I was bullied as a kid and was on the receiving end of violent crime as an adult. Practically any circumstance has me looking for danger. I see a man walk toward me on the sidewalk, even in broad daylight in my pleasant neighborhood, and I'm doing threat assessment and feel the trembling sense of fight/flight building. It's exhausting and humiliating as a man. I know that women need to do the threat assessment as a matter of course, but as a man or makes me feel like less of a man. Being called a pedo when looking after my own kids. Being kicked in the balls. Being alone 100%. Loneliness sucks. That I'll never change. Table saw and dentist. Mental illness. Being unable to discern reality. Being alone for the rest of my life. The pressures of being a provider in the future, especially in this/future economy. Not being enough. Being poor for the rest of my life. Marrying the wrong woman. For some reason I've worried about this since I was a kid. I'm 31 now and still single. Not sure if it's childhood trauma or an irrational fear I built up in my head. Turning into my dad. Anything that involves losing my penis. Cutting a small hole in my ball bag while shaving them and then one of my balls dangling out. That I wave back at somebody who is waving to a person behind me. I have a great memory. I literally never studied for a test, I just used to cram, and while I didn't always ace it, I'd pass a good percentage of the time. In my job it's a lot of troubleshooting and repetition, so I'm naturally really good at that. People at work joke that it's my superpower and come to me a lot for help. So the answer for me is Alzheimer's. To lose what is my greatest strength is frightening. My mom is starting to show signs right now, so it's all too real for me.